Zombies are all about networking. Here's your look at the new boss fight studio, Vitruvian Hacks Series Z, Britanee Bytes. Why do zombies crave living flesh? And where does the preference for human meat come from? A zombie will devour any animal it gets its hands on, rats, stray dogs, birds, but one meat beats all, however. A zombie will stop mid-bite if feasting on another species in order to chase after a human. After their victim can escape with some scratches, but these wounds fester, and the victim becomes a carrier destined to eventually turn. The brain seems to hold some sort of allure for the zombie, and it prefers to feast on that organ first once it's made a kill. Just before we sink our teeth into the review of Britanee Bytes, the first thing we're going to want to do is first figure out how tall it stands. I could just look at it. I could come up with some number and just throw it up to you guys. But you guys want to have the correct information supplied. And the best way, of course, to do that is take this tape measure of mine. We're going to measure it right to the very top of her head. So without knocking her over, I'm going to take it right to her hair, and we're going to move it just across a little bit. And the only reason why I'm moving it across is so I don't hit her arm, because that won't give me the proper read. It'll tell her that, well, tell us that she's probably about 2.5 feet tall. And that ain't right. That ain't right. We're going to go ahead and instead move it over. Like I said, we're going to stop it right there. And then looking at the readouts, you're looking at Britanee Bytes standing 5.3 inches in height. We can switch that then over to centimeters. And you're looking at the figure being 13.5 or 13.5 centimeters tall. Miss Bytes. Can I call you Miss Bytes? Are you Miss? Are you single? Asking for a friend. Let's introduce you to some of the other Vitruvian hack figures that we already had a look at, starting first with the turnbuckle biter. So happens to also be another zombie as part of this wave. Let's bring in Antonia Villas. Let's bring in one of the Jean brother. It's only one of them because, well, we only had one of them. And let's also bring in Alex Nicolaitis, museum curator. How different are these from one another? And obviously, the big ones being the turnbuckle biter and Britanee Bytes being, of course, that they're the undead. But, I mean, even if you just look at them starting from one side of the screen and sort of follow your eyes across, they're all different. They're all using different molds. Some molds have been reused. Some of the accessories have been reused from one figure to the other. But it's an incredible feat, the fact that Boss Fight are producing such unique figures across the board. 5 different figures. 5 different outfits, 5 different head sculpts, and completely different to the one that's right next to it. Checking out the figure's accessories. Starting first, we'll have a look at her display stand. Yes, very good, very good, very observant. It is the same display stand as what we've gotten before with the Vitruvian Hack Series Z figures. The only thing that's different is that these holes down below don't actually serve a purpose. Omitted here with the releases of the zombies, at least, I'll grab another display stand. This came included with one of the humans, is that there is a corpse piece of a zombie that snaps into those holes. I'll just attach it so you can see right here. 2 pegs on the bottom of the corpse piece fits actually into only 2 of the 3 holes provided on the base. You just line it up. I find it actually helps to line this one up first, and then just shift this across and snap it down into place. So like the human characters did come included with it, strangely enough, the zombies don't. And you could make the argument, well, they're zombies, well, why would you have corpses in front of them? But I would imagine these zombies aren't walking out in the middle of nowhere by themselves. Along their travels, I'm sure they're going to be passing other fallen zombies. They could have probably still included the corpse pieces. But other than that, yeah, it's just the exact same display stands. And one last time, just to show you, they only seem to line up in some of the places. I mean, again, you're getting close enough that you can kind of have, again, a couple of them connected together like a train. A very terrible train of corpses. So she comes included with that. We're going to put that then to the side. She comes also with a couple of things that can connect to the internet. I can't think that she would be connecting any more to the internet. Signal strength, I can't imagine would be very good right now. And she probably also has forgotten her network password. By the way, it was ICU-Byte. Probably shouldn't have said that so loudly. Now everyone's going to be accessing your network. Anyways, you get yourself a smaller phone and you get yourself a larger iPad. I can't imagine she's color coordinating in the afterlife, so she probably did this before. Got herself an OtterBox small enough for her phone and then matched the same red for the iPad. Nice little pieces that you can include with the figures. And again, technically, you could really use these accessories with the human characters, the ones still living, breathing, and needing to check their emails. If you want to take these and fit them into her hands, stock out of the packaging, out of her plastic prison, the hands are already actually suited to hold either one of the accessories. Take the iPad and sort of just get it underneath her hand, and then you'll sort of have the bracing of the fingers on the other side to hold it in place. And she can also multitask, so not only can she shop on eBay for maybe a new, I don't know, swag rug or something, but she can also bite living people. People are still trying to survive. She can actually do both. She can multitask with both her phone and her iPad in either hand. So that's nice. I like that they throw these accessories in like this. Even if, again, you don't plan on displaying it with a zombie, you can certainly use it for other Vitruvian hack figures. Speaking of using with other Vitruvian hack figures, and speaking, I suppose, of hacking, she comes included with some rather sharp-looking weapons. One is a smaller broad blade. I don't know if it's a knife or you'd still consider it a sword at this point. She also comes with a cleaver. Both of them, either one that you use, as you can see, has already been used, as they've been stained and soaked with crimson red. And you can take those and also fit them into her hands. Or use them, really, again, use them if you want to, with other figures. There are holes. Now, we've seen these holes before with other accessories with the Vitruvian hacks. Don't think they actually serve much of a purpose with the zombies. You can kind of fit it onto the finger like this, and it just barely holds onto place. Or you can also swap out her hands, too, instead of having to go through the hassle of her trying to actually hold the weapons with the existing hands. Don't do that. Just swap the hands out. She comes with a couple of more smaller gripped hands. Don't want to drop this one. Just fit one into the forearm. I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. And these hands are much better suited for holding the weapons. Again, as a zombie that's walking around, does she know to use these? Does she even know what they're for? I don't know. You can take the cleaver, fit into one of her hands, and do the exact same thing with... It almost kind of looks more like a machete with a hook on the end of it. We'll just fit that into her hand as well. So there's that option too. By the novelty of the fact that they included the iPad and they also include the phone, I'd probably be more inclined to display her with those, just because I think that they're more funny to look at on display. A corpse walking around with those in her hands. Goes to show, really, even after you die, you're still glued to your phone and the internet. Anyways, go ahead and take those out of her hands. The other accessory, that she also comes included with is a corpse arm. Now, this doesn't specifically plug into her forearm. It serves more as just a standalone, sort of the parsley on the side of your steak dish. You can see there's the bone sticking up to the top. So there's really, there's no real reason to think that this plugs into her forearm. It just isn't going to work. So that's kind of a nice little thing to display along with the display stand. Going then back to the display stand. Let's put the figure down here for a second. Actually, we'll just lay her down for a second. Well, going back to the display stand, just take that corpse hand. Yeah, why not? Just lay it there. It's a little way to display it. Put it right over there. And then the last of her accessories, she comes included with a swappable head sculpt. I don't know specifically if this is supposed to be the same character, but while her name is Britanee Bytes, I would imagine she's female or was formerly a female. This looks to be more like a male head sculpt. For a second, I keep thinking it has a mustache, and I have to keep telling myself, no, that's the top of the lip. Doesn't it look like it has a mustache? Maybe it's just me. But looking at the two, though, I feel that there's definitely more of a male head sculpt happening here. And this looks clearly more like a female to me. To swap out the heads, by the way, you just go ahead and grab the torso. Just wiggle the head off the ball peg. That's not really the best way to describe it, because when you're replacing the head, you really want the ball peg to stay with the head. Remove that, and then take the head that already has, as you can see, the ball peg there, and that fits just back on the neck. Line everything up. One thing I have noticed about this head sculpt is I'm having a more difficult time of getting the ball peg lined up here. But I have also noticed that the neck seems really long, and it seems more noticeably long when I change this head sculpt off and replace it with this one. There we go. Whew. I don't know why it's such a tough time getting that in place. But maybe it is the fact that this one does have the hair, that it seems like the neck doesn't seem as, I don't know, it seems a little bit more longer. By the fact it does have the balding on the top there, gotta feel, again, that could be a male. Could be completely wrong. I mean, it's possible. Could be completely wrong, but those are the two different head sculpts. Seems a bit off-putting as well that this one is wearing a t-shirt like a belly tee, and it has what I feel to be a male head sculpt. That of the two, even though I really like the look of this one, with the open mouth like that, tongue is still in there, I'm probably still going to display it with this head sculpt. And just because it is a little offsetting, the fact that this one does have a belly tee, you know what? We're going to pop this back off. All that work, all that effort to put that on in the first place, only to revert back to the way that we had it before. There we go. It belongs there. It feels right. Speaking of feeling right, though, I mean, the head sculpt on this one, my favorite of the two, is really, really cool. It's missing the nose. Doesn't have the nose there on the front, and it has all these gashes on the forehead. Sculpting on the hair is really good on it on this one as well. But let's talk a little bit about the belly tee and why I feel like this head sculpt suits better to have this kind of t-shirt. The t-shirt looks like it's been inspired by the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The fact it's biting the lower lip like that. It's a nice fact that they would include a biting lip like that to go along with a character like a zombie. I think that's kind of like an inside fun joke on Boss Fight Studios' part. The coloring on the t-shirt is very clean. The only thing I would really question about this, she looks so grimy everywhere else. Well, that's not actually even true. The designer jeans that she has, and I have to believe that these jeans she probably has spent at one point, not now, because I don't think you can give credit to the undead, but at one point I would imagine these jeans are probably about, what, $200-300? Isn't it crazy we spend so much on jeans that have rips already in them? You could buy cheaper jeans and do it at home for yourself. These designer jeans got to be at least $300, at least. That's a little too much for me. Not that I would be buying ripped jeans, but I'm just saying. The shirt is clean, the pants are very clean. So even though like the rest of her body is decayed, falling apart, somehow her clothes are still rather clean. I may have just dirtied those up just a little bit. I mean, she definitely is more in trend, which probably would then go back to her phone and her iPad. She probably follows the trends, hashtags, hashtag I just bought this, hashtag I just bit a guy. I don't know. Really has some fun things going on for that. Of all the zombies we've looked at, this one I feel like I enjoy the most just because of kind of not an inside joke, but just the fact it so represents, I feel, what today's society is. In the afterlife, she's still all about fashion, style, and, you know, trending things online. Of course, you got the gashes there on the mid-torso area. Again, it looks like there's blood seeping down from underneath the shirt, and yet the shirt still stays pretty clean. Unless she's using some pretty strong washing detergent. Even takes all the blood stains out, all the guts stains, and all the other things that would find its way onto the material. Clean, just like that. You can hang it out to dry. The work done on the jeans. Little rips all in there. I like that the jeans have a two-tone effect. They're gone more of a darker blue. And then around the areas of the rips, it seems like there's a slightly more lighter blue happening here. You can also see it more on the side. Again, you still got that screw there located on the back of the body. All the figures from the Vitruvian hacks have had this up to this point. They probably could paint over top of it. It doesn't serve a purpose as a collector to get this home and have to then take the screw out for any reason whatsoever. Probably they could maybe put a cap or paint over top of that screw in the same similar color. I don't know specifically why that screw is there. Obviously, it's for more the assembly of the figure, putting things together, as I'm pointing to the backside there of the zombie. It's more so from the manufacturing end of things. But it's just a shame that in some cases, like this one right here, the silver of the screw does stand out a lot. Let's have a look at the poseability on Britanee Bytes. Is that even her real name? I would imagine that's probably her online username. The head rotates all the way around. You can hinge the head up and down, and you can also rock it back and forth slightly. Sort of the way that the light is hitting the inside of her mouth, it almost looks like she's got an inner smaller jaw, kind of like a xenomorph. I think it's probably just the way the light's hitting that. Little on the creepy side. But yeah, the head rotates all the way around. And really, again, if you wanted to use this head sculpt, which, again, seems a bit strange that you'd want to use this head with someone that's wearing a belly tee, but you can if you want, works the exact same way. Same ball peg on the inside. Speaking of belly T, her torso rotates all the way around. There are going to be some instances when you hinge the torso too far back and you're going to be noticing a gap on the inside. You can put your slotted mail in there if you want. Bills, and more bills. You may want to just move the torso pieces a little bit further forward so you alleviate having that gap forming there. She does also have a swivel on her lower waist that rotates all the way around. The arms rotate also all the way around. You can hinge them out as well. With Britanee here, I've noticed the joints are generally quite tight. Not too tight to the point where I feel like I'm forcing the matter and something's going to eventually break, but just a little on the tighter side. And that's, again, not a bad thing at all. The plastic on these is pretty good. It's not a gummy plastic, but it doesn't feel like a brittle plastic either. The joints feel strong enough that I'm confident when I'm bending the elbows that I don't feel like something's going to eventually break. Sometimes one of the problems you have with these smaller scale figures is that you feel like you sort of have to hold them carefully, very carefully get in there and start moving the joints for fear that something's going to break off. So far up to this point, and all the Vitruvian hacks figures that we've looked at so far on this channel, I have felt pretty confident going in there, not going too rough, of course, manipulating and moving the joints, but I don't feel like anything's really breaking on them. So like while I've been membering on about that, the forearm rotates all the way around. Of course, there's a hinge happening right there. And you can also rotate the hands also, of course, all the way around as well. As we move a little bit further down on the figure, straighten out her arms. Like I said, she does have the swivel cut on the waist. And then when we get down to her legs, these expensive $500 jeans. Now we're increasing the price of these jeans. Who's paying for these jeans? Is she just putting them, racking up a balance on her credit card? Maybe it's sponsorship, maybe Slash Jeans, send her some free jeans. She just has to go on to like Twitter or Instagram. Oh my God, I just love these jeans. Thank you. #Slash Jeans. She gets a whole bunch of free jeans. I don't know. Social media is such a funny thing at times. She does have the hinge joint though on the legs. They split out. You move them forward and back, fine and good. She does have a double hinge happening on her knee. And then when we get down to, speaking of brand name boots, are those Uggs? I'm not up to date with current trending boots. There's the hinge joint happening here. The only thing I would say, though, is the top of the boots. I don't know if the flap is supposed to be a different color and the tongue is supposed to be a different color, but they are from the rest of the shoe. And there is also a gap right there where they've put the joint in so you can actually move it up and down. Wish they could have colored that to be at least, if anything, the same coloring as this, or even this, but just not have the dark blue in the middle of things, because it looks like it's two halves of a boot. Designer boots. #, oh my God, I love these boots. Oh my God, I love this figure. Again, I'm not sure if I would ever really display it with this head sculpt. It seems so out of place when you, of course, have the Rocky Horror Picture Show belly tee that she's wearing. I'm probably going to stick with this one. I'm likely going to be displaying also the figure with her social media access, her tablet and her iPhone. Again, even though they're not working, I mean, even in the afterlife, she feels she's constantly just pressing the black screen because she wants to like #, best years of my life, # just took that guy's face off. Britanee Bytes. What a great looking figure from the folks over at Boss Fight Studio. Oh, Britanee Bytes, you and your need of excessive selfies. Oh my God, # best years of my life. # I ate all this and haven't gained a pound. Britanee Bytes. Britanee Bytes has, of all the Vitruvian hack figures that we've looked at so far, I think has some of the most fun accessories. They're not all fun, mind you. Not all of it is social media related. She also includes some really sharp looking weapons that you can actually have displayed with the other Vitruvian hacks, which is probably what I'm going to end up ultimately doing. Is she going to have the cleaver and that machete weapon in her hand? No, I'm going to have her displayed like this with taking a selfie. Britanee, just an FYI, your screen's not even on. She doesn't even care. It's all social media. # best years of my life. Oh my God. Big thank you, though, to the folks over at Boss Fight Studio that provide this sample of Vitruvian hack series, the Britanee Bytes Brain Eater. I guess is that her online? I don't know. Is that her online thing for Twitter? Was Brain Eater? Probably wasn't. She had to have something a little bit more brandable, easier to brand, easier to message, and easier to get some of that sweet, sweet merch from Slash Jeans. Oh my God, I love these jeans. What do you guys think of Britanee Bytes? Let me know down below in the comments section. And again, a big thank you to the folks over at Boss Fight Studio that provide the sample of her. If you guys are new to this channel, enjoying all the content you're seeing, You can do yourself one thing by hitting that subscribe button down below. Okay, you can do actually two things. Hit the subscribe button down below. You can also turn on the bell notification. Okay, three things. You can turn on that, you can hit that subscribe button. You can turn on the bell notification. And the last one, promise, you can keep your peepers peeled to this channel because there will be more Boss Fight Studio reviews lined up and coming your way. And as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.